The numbers are startling. Not millions, but billions of people around the world are trying to balance living their lives with the limits of living with chronic diseases. Some of the biggest healthcare challenges facing humankind. For all of these people, we want to transform healthcare. We are uncovering and targeting the drivers of disease, accelerating diagnosis and treatments, empowered by digital technologies, data, and AI. Our ambition: to stop the progress of these often degenerative, debilitating, and life-threatening conditions, achieve remission, and one day cure them. Changing the course of medical practice, transforming treatment, and getting it to all those billions of people living with the most common chronic diseases, so they can live life without limits.
Hi there, I'm Dayani Tipple. I'm a Senior Director of Marketing with AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals, and I'm here to share with you a little bit about my role and how I chose this career. I went to Clemson University for my undergraduate degree, and my major at the time was English and Political Science. And when I was 19, finishing up my freshman year, I started to have some strange symptoms where I was tired, I was having fevers, and the doctors couldn't quite figure out what was going on with me. Many months later, and many tests later, many doctor visits later, I was diagnosed with lupus. At the time, there was no cure for lupus. There was no actual approved treatment for the disease. Little was known. I had to transfer from Clemson to finish my degree at Loyola College in Baltimore, Maryland. This kept me closer to Johns Hopkins Hospital, where I was undergoing treatment. My father was a physician, and it was during my last years of undergraduate school that I learned a lot about the clinical pharmaceutical development process. I learned that it takes 17 years, $1 to $2 billion of investment to bring a product to market, a new treatment. And when new treatments are brought to market, 3 out of 10, only 3 out of 10 are profitable. 1 out of 10 might recoup $1 billion in profit. Remember, each one is an investment of $1 to $2 billion. I knew that this industry was going to be critical to me finding a cure or a treatment for my disease. And that is exactly why I chose to pursue a career in the pharmaceutical industry. I began my career in the pharmaceutical industry as a sales representative. I did not have a background in science. The process to bring a product to market starts in clinical development, moves to product launch and pre-launch commercialization, and then post-launch marketing and promotional efforts. So I started my career actually at the end of that funnel. As a pharmaceutical representative, your responsibility is to travel to institutions, to physicians, and share clinical evidence that helps physicians make decisions about what is right for their patients. That is an individual contributor role to the success of these organizations. Now, even though I didn't have a background in science, there is a very critical skill that we look for when hiring folks into this industry, even at every level, from sales to clinical development, and that's learning agility. Learning agility is not really about what you've learned, but it's how you learn. What we want to see is that individuals can learn complex concepts and information and apply them quickly, utilize them quickly. That is really what's most important when it comes to advancing technologies and clinical evidence that is always on the horizon. The second step of my career was really moving from being an individual contributor into contributing to the organization that would have national impact. And that was when I decided to move into marketing. still working sort of at the end of that funnel and moving backward. So from being an individual contributor and carrying out the promotional tactics, I moved into marketing strategy. And in marketing strategy, you're really looking for understanding how, who, and what channels we will use to put our messaging in. That was something, again, that I really didn't have the undergraduate education and background in. That's where learning agility came into play as well. I had to look for on-the-job learning experiences like apprenticeships, projects, and development programs within my company to help hone my skills and give me exposure to that type of role. After being in marketing promotion for about 5 years, I moved into marketing strategy leadership roles, which is really about understanding what channels we want to be in. How do we accelerate our activities, looking forward into long-term promotional planning? So it's not just about what we're going to do this year, it's how we will set ourselves up for the next 5 to 10 years. The next part of my career came after also investing more in learning. So while I was in marketing, I had some great opportunities within my company to participate in continuing education. I earned a marketing certificate from Wharton as part of our ongoing educational programs, and then I took advantage of tuition reimbursement at GlaxoSmithKline, my employer at the time. I was able to pursue an MBA at St. Joe's University. All of that, coupled with on-the-job learning experience, as well as finding the right mentors in my career, helped me move into the next step of my career, which was new product launch and promotional strategy. After 18 years at GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, I went to AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals to help launch a new product. That process actually begins before the product is ever even approved in a country. We work on the promotional label. We work on the commercial strategy. That means how we will come to market, how we will become profitable, when we will become profitable, and how we will maintain the life cycle of that product and help more people. That is an incredibly fulfilling experience for me. So today, 21 years later, I worked for two of the largest global pharmaceutical companies in the world, GlaxoSmithKline and AstraZeneca. GlaxoSmithKline brought the first treatment for lupus to market in 2011. AstraZeneca recently brought the second treatment for lupus, first in its class, to market just a year ago. It's incredibly rewarding for me to be a part of that type of development. That is probably the most amazing part of this job, is hearing from patients, their families, sometimes even countries that we have donated product to hear about how products and new treatments have impacted them personally. That is the best part of this job. The toughest part about this job is knowing that there are still so many other diseases out there that lack appropriate treatments, that lack cures, and there are a lot of people that still suffer. That being said, there's always work to be done. This is a very high-paced environment. Things are always evolving. Technology is always evolving. We always have to have our ear to the ground, listening for how we can improve the lives of other people. It's a fantastic opportunity to be a part of solving a problem, and it can happen at any point in that journey. So just like the video says, there's so much more that we can do, unlocking what science can do for people. And it doesn't just mean that you have to be on the science side.